Okay, so we're in a position to start thinking about these central bands here. And as I mentioned in the introduction, these were originally, they had two components. The first was an inner vellum strip. You can just see the ends of it here. That's been very, very tightly wound with the cords from the folios of the book itself. So basically each folio is sewn into a group of around maybe 8, which you can see here. And those are then tied back with these loops around these 5 ribs here. So these are extremely tight, and really I think any attempt to disrupt that would just not particularly end well. The other component are these rubber reinforcing braces here. One's intact here, and these have sort of come apart over time, and they're sort of tied in just with these extra sections of string, as you can see. So how to repair all of this? The thing we have to bear in mind is that we have to attach covers to this book. And the way in which that's going to be done is with twine being tied into the boards. Now, I'd given quite a lot of thought to, could we maybe get some twine tied into the ends of each of these ribs, and then, so each side here, and then tie that into the board. But I think that's potentially a recipe for disaster. And the reason being that I don't believe there is any strength, pulling wise, outward in this vellum here. This vellum looks to be very, very fragile, looking at the ends of it that are visible. And if I were to get the tension slightly wrong in closing the book with the boards, that would exert a pulling force across these 3. And if the vellum breaks, the loops will come free, and the board itself, the book itself, will start to fall apart, because that's what's holding the pages in the book. So I don't think that's an option. I then thought, okay, maybe another option is to replace these leather ties and let the leather do the work. Well, I created 3 replacement strips of leather, but the reality is that this leather isn't that strong either. And even if initially it worked, I think very quickly the leather would dry out, shrink, and potentially crack as well, just as happened here. So I think what we end up with is a situation where we're going to have to over-engineer this. And what I've decided to at least experiment with is placing 3 lengths of twine, one above, one below, and one along each of the ribs. I'm sort of holding it in place here, but you know what I mean. Like so. And then using needle and thread, we will tie the whole lot down in several places with thread. And in that way, the actual holding of the boards in place and that strength will be provided by this twine, and the at no point will the vellum, or indeed the leather, but really the vellum, have to take any of that stress. So all of the work will be done by this. The vellum, though, will just be left in situ, as it has been for more than 400 years, and we won't disrupt these loops in any way. So that's broadly the plan. We'll give it a go with one, and if it works, we'll do the other 2 and see how it turns out.